Secret Affairs Exposed, where every story touches your heart and keeps you on the edge till the very end. The night was quiet on October 29, 2017. The calm was broken when a chilling 911 call came through. The caller was shaken. They said they had just walked past their neighbor's home and saw something no one should ever have to see. A body was lying still on the porch of the house. The caller could see no movement, no signs of life. The man on the porch was 38-year-old Jonathan Sherrill. Police rushed to the scene. The house was still, the air was heavy. Jonathan's body lay on the porch, cold and lifeless. He had been shot at close range with a shotgun. The wound left no doubt of his fate. On the grass nearby, officers spotted a single-used shotgun shell. That was the only piece of evidence in sight. No weapon, no clear suspect, just silence. Detectives began knocking on doors, hoping neighbors might have seen something. One neighbor described a strange scene earlier that day. They said they had seen Jonathan outside with a woman. She seemed to be trying to kiss him. Jonathan pushed her away. He told her to leave, and she eventually walked off. Another neighbor had something more solid. Cameras on their property had captured movement that night. The footage showed a vehicle pulling into Jonathan's driveway. Moments later, Jonathan appeared with his dog and an unknown woman. They stayed outside talking for some time. After 30 minutes, the woman left. But the camera showed that the same vehicle returned less than an hour later. That was when the shooting happened. Minutes later, the same car drove by again, and the camera caught a glimpse of the driver, a blonde woman. When detectives pieced it together, they learned the driver was 34-year-old Colette Collins. She was no stranger to Jonathan. Investigators brought her in to talk. She sounded calm, almost casual. She said she had stopped by Jonathan's house that night because she had not seen him in a while. She knew he had been struggling with depression since his restaurant had closed. She claimed she wanted to check up on him. She described how she found him in his room with a facial mask on. They sat outside and talked for a while. She insisted it was innocent. Detectives asked if Jonathan had known she was coming. She said no. She explained that she had been passing his house and decided to stop. She claimed they never really called each other. Instead, they bumped into each other, or he would come by her place. She said they had no intimate relationship. She described him as just someone she could talk to. But there was tension under her calm words. Jonathan and Colette's husband, Sam, had once been close friends. Jonathan owned a bar where Sam and Colette would often visit. But Colette had a history of infidelity. Sam grew uncomfortable with his wife's closeness to Jonathan and eventually pulled away from their friendship. As detectives listened, they could feel cracks in her story. Colette said Sam did not know she had been at Jonathan's house that night. She admitted she kept it from him because she knew he would be upset. She described leaving Jonathan's house, buying 2 bottles of wine, and riding around drinking in her car before going home. She tried to explain away why her car was seen driving near Jonathan's neighborhood again that night. She said she was just riding around but could not recall exactly where she drove. Her story raised more questions than it answered. Detectives pressed further. They knew Jonathan had been struggling with addiction to painkillers. They also knew Colette's husband had a past as both a pill addict and a dealer. Though she insisted he had been sober for over a year, suspicion grew. Could Jonathan's death have been tied to drugs? Could debts or deals gone wrong have led to this violence? Colette denied knowing anything about Jonathan's drug connections. She grew defensive, saying she did not want to be involved in that world. But detectives were not satisfied. They pointed out that her husband's past made their household far from innocent. They reminded her that recovering addicts usually avoid social circles where drugs are still common. Yet she and Sam seemed surrounded by that very world. They asked her about weapons. She said no. They reminded her that most people in their area owned something for protection. But she insisted they could not have guns because Sam was a convicted felon. Her story grew darker when she revealed something from the month before. She said their front door had been kicked in late one night. 2 men stormed in and fired several shotgun blasts. Her husband Sam told her not to call the police. He feared his criminal record would work against him. She claimed people had spread rumors that they kept cash at home. She insisted they were broke, but the shooting was real and terrifying. Detectives exchanged glances. The story made little sense. Why would 2 armed men unload shotguns inside their home and they not report it? Detectives told her plainly. They did not believe everything she was saying. They pressed harder. She stuck to her words. She insisted she had told the truth. She grew emotional, saying she could not believe anyone would kill Jonathan. that she could not stop crying when she heard. Yet something slipped from her lips more than once. She said she knew she was the last person to see Jonathan alive. Detectives caught it. They asked how she could possibly know that. How could she be so sure? No one else had been identified. She stumbled with her answer, saying she only knew she was there that night. She tried to backtrack, but the damage was done. The video evidence was clear. Her car was in Jonathan's driveway right before and during the time of the murder. She was on camera driving around again just minutes after the fatal shot was fired. Detectives pushed her harder. They told her that there were pieces she was not sharing, that her husband's paranoia, their ties to drugs, their violent incident at home all pointed to deeper secrets. They told her they already knew more than she realized. All they wanted was the truth. Colette looked down. She grew restless. Then her voice cracked. She said she maybe needed a lawyer. At that word, the interrogation had to stop. At that point, investigators turned to Sam, Colette's husband. They needed to know his role in this tragic puzzle. Detective sat across from Sam Collins. His body language was tense, his answers slow. At first, he tried to distance himself from Jonathan. He said they weren't very close, but admitted they had once spent time together. He claimed Jonathan would sometimes stop by to talk, especially when his bar was still open. He described Jonathan as a man with money problems. He said he often struggled to afford the pills he was addicted to. Sam's words revealed more than he intended. He admitted that when their dealer, Isaiah, wasn't around, he would sometimes provide Jonathan with pills. He confessed that Jonathan often did not pay him back. He explained how Jonathan once gave him a watch instead of money, promising to pay later. Sammy trusted him at first, but soon the debts piled up. Detectives leaned in. They reminded him that they weren't after small drug cases. They wanted the truth about Jonathan's murder. Sam relaxed a little. He admitted that he had sold to Jonathan several times. He admitted that Jonathan had built up a tab he never cleared. He admitted that their relationship had become strained because of it. Detectives then asked about the break-in at his home. Sam's story did not match his wife's. At first, he said he heard noises outside one night. He thought someone was tampering with the air conditioner. He claimed he saw figures outside wearing jackets. He claimed he turned on the lights to scare them off. He insisted they never came inside, and no shots were fired. Detectives pressed him harder. They told him Colette's version was different. She had said men kicked in the door, fired rounds in the home, and that she even picked up shell casings. Sam shifted in his seat. He stumbled over his words. He finally admitted he had lied. He said he told his friend Josh that story to make it sound like he was armed. He wanted people to think twice before targeting him. He admitted no shots were fired that night. Detectives took note. The couple's stories were falling apart. The lies and half-truths created a web of doubt. Sam's defensiveness only deepened suspicion. They turned the conversation to his marriage. Sam admitted it hadn't been easy. He and Colette had been married for 14 years. He confessed that there had been problems with her addictions in the past. He told them that she had once left him, claiming to stay with family, but he discovered she had been with another man. He looked away as he spoke, his voice heavy with anger and shame. Detectives asked directly if he thought Colette might have been involved with Jonathan. He hesitated. He said he hoped not. He said he feared it was possible. He admitted that when Colette confessed she had stopped by Jonathan's house the night he was killed, he immediately grew suspicious. Then detectives asked the crucial question. Where was Sam the night Jonathan was murdered? Sam said he was at home with his son and his mother-in-law. He said Colette had later told him she had gone to Jonathan's house, but insisted nothing happened. He claimed he believed her. He said he thought Jonathan's death was linked to a drug debt, not to anything between Colette and Jonathan. Detectives pressed harder. They asked for permission to search his home and car. Sam refused. He said it was an invasion of privacy. The detectives exchanged looks. His refusal only fueled their suspicion. Before ending their interview, they circled back one more time. They reminded him that his wife had claimed men entered their home firing shotguns. They asked why she would say that if it never happened. Sam shifted again. This time he admitted, yes, shots were fired. He said he had hidden in the closet. He said he was too scared to fight back. He said he told people otherwise only to protect himself. He denied having a gun. He insisted he was unarmed. He insisted he had only tried to scare the intruders away. Detectives could see the fear in his eyes, but also the deception. His story was fragile. He contradicted himself again and again. When they pressed too hard, he finally stopped talking. He said he wanted a lawyer.